Hello, my name is Lauren and welcome to today's video. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to play forte full high notes without sounding piercing and shrill. So I'm going to get into that in just a second, but first wanted to make a really quick announcement that for the month of September 2019, I'm offering first 2 Skype lessons at half price. So if you've been curious about Skype lessons and want to give them a try, then just know that for this month of September, the first 2, if you sign up for 2 on my website this month, will be half price. And you don't have to take the lessons this month, but you can purchase them this month and use them at a later date, more or less like within 6 months of when you purchased. So I just wanted to say that, and then now let's get into the video. So yes, so I made a video how to play soft, easy high notes a few weeks ago. I'm going to link it up here and in the description. I highly recommend checking that video out. A lot of what I'm going to say here is going to also overlap with that, but obviously it's going to be a little bit different because we're playing forte today. So basically, very important, I always talk about the setup, but I'll just say the really quickly 2 most important things are that you're not leaving the embouchure hole uncovered or too covered. I want to say for honestly, it would be, I'll just say 1/3 to 1/2 range for a good healthy amount. You don't want it to sound covered or limited. You want it to sound free and boundless. So sometimes I hesitate saying to cover. I don't want that to be interpreted as like covering too much. You can definitely cover too much, but don't cover too little either, because it's going to make it sound so much more shrill. Especially if you're not covering any of it, you'll hear it. It sounds very loud, piercing, and airy when you're not covering any of the embouchure holes. So make sure you're finding that sweet spot, and then also relaxing the jaw and making sure your corners of your lips aren't pulled back like this, but that you're kind of more supple and lips are forward. So those are 3 things I say a lot, but I just wanted to go over that before getting into the rest of it. So loud, forte, high notes. I want to recommend exercise that I'll introduce right now. It's from Taffanel Gobert's 17 Daily Exercises, and it's exercise 7. And I like to do this one an octave higher, and I like to use who kicks or diaphragm kicks, meaning I don't use my tongue to articulate. I use my stomach muscles. So instead of ta, 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 I'm going ha, ha, ha. So yeah, it's exercise 7. Make sure your setup is good. You found the sweet spot and you're relaxing your jaw. And then just try these who kicks. And I'll put the notes on the screen, but this is in the 3rd octave. So a lot's happening here. I'm using my stomach muscles. Another thing I'm doing is I'm using warm, hot air. I could probably even do a little bit more of that to get a more robust sound. That's what's really going to help, is having that sensation, that warm, hot air. Go up to a mirror and fog up the mirror and feel what that feels like in your stomach, in your throat, and carry that with you into this exercise. And I think you'll kind of, you'll find what it does to the sound. I think it really makes it, for me, more robust and gives it more depth And so, yeah, use warm air. You also what I want to recommend when playing around with this exercise is playing around with the longer in the front of the mouth. So my lips are still in some ways like pouty, but they're down like below my teeth. I'm dropping my jaw, and I'm also thinking of lengthening this way, like both, so long and tall, and for high notes and hot air. So those are a lot of things that you can experiment with during this exercise, using these hoo kicks and playing around with that. So what else? So after you do these hoo kicks and you get your stomach involved and you feel what that feels like, ha, 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 like really getting the stomach involved and playing from from here, then you can start stringing the notes together. So do 2 notes at a time and then do 4 notes at a time. So let me do 2 notes. Okay, so there's a lot that you can learn when graduating to the 2 notes from the diaphragm kicks. So one thing that I notice is it really does, when I'm playing like this, it feels like I'm breathing fire almost. I mean, not that, I mean, if I were to imagine what that was like, but it's like I'm using really warm air. I'm really feeling something in my stomach. I'm feeling the burn a little bit in my stomach muscles. So I'm definitely using warm air. Vibrato also helps. Like, I think if you feel comfortable with vibrato, this is a really great time to use it when playing forte high notes. I did make a video about vibrato. Feels like a long time ago, but I'll link it up here in the description. Yeah, so that might be helpful for getting your stomach muscles going as well. So, yeah. So playing around with long, or tall, I should say, lengthen here. Bring the lips pouty, but down below the teeth, and also lengthen here. Experiment with that. Experiment with really warm air, and then also ask yourself about your positioning. If you just played around with it, obviously you don't want to move your flute around while you're playing the flute. You want to keep it in the set place that feels good in all registers, but play around, because you're playing around with your high notes and trying to really find the best sound and positioning, and just experiment. You may be crushing the sound a little bit. What if you just positioned it or angled it a smidge more out? Would it open up the sound? That's all helpful information to know. And when you go back and play your low notes, you can kind of see if you can find a balanced positioning, so that you can easily play from low to high, and have a really good overall healthy sound. So yeah, you may be crushing the sound a little bit if it's in a weird angle. So play around a little bit with the angle. Make sure you're not rolling in or or anything, or covering or looking down for these high notes. And that's another thing, is to aim the air more across on your high notes. And yeah, I also feel like my aperture, the opening of my lips, is tall, even if it's not literally tall. It has that feeling that it's like taller. It's not pulling back the corners and wide. It's like a taller aperture when I'm playing really forte in the high register. So yeah, then graduate to 4 notes with this same exercise. You get the idea, and I think that's where I'm going to stop for this video today. So I hope this information was helpful. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe below for more tutorial videos like this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.